The Intercept has a devastating report out on Trump's administration. Li Feng explains, Donald Trump may select Jose Rodriguez, one of the primary architects of the George W. Bush torture program, to run the CIA, according to a law firm with close ties to Trump. Rodriguez, the former director of the National Clandestine Service, helped develop the CIA black sites, secret prisons operated in foreign countries where interrogations used a range of torture tactics. Rodriguez is unapologetic about his role in the program. Rodriguez not only crafted the Bush torture program, but played a key role in the cover-up. Following revelations of the effort, Rodriguez worked directly to get rid of the evidence and destroyed 92 videotapes revealing the waterboarding of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was waterboarded 183 times. So he was a key architect of the torture program, and then he destroyed evidence because it became clear that there may actually be repercussions for this, and there may be jail time, and there may be consequences for violating international law and U.S. law and being loathsome cretins. So destroyed evidence is a criminal, and helped create the torture program. And he's unapologetic about it. And Donald Trump looks at that and goes, rock on. Now, this is an area where there is no flip-flop from Donald Trump. There's some areas where he's flip-flopping, some of it for the better, some of it for the worse. This is an area where, forget it. I mean, it's everything he said during the campaign trail, I think he really believes. So, like when he said about torture, and he said it repeatedly, yeah, we're going to bring back torture. Of course we're going to bring back torture. We're going to bring back waterboarding. We're going to bring back worse than waterboarding. We're going to bring it back, quote, even if it doesn't work. That's a step above and beyond Cheney. Because Cheney and the neocons, loathsome assholes as they were, and war criminals, they called it enhanced interrogation, and they said, well, we're only doing it because we really genuinely want to, protect the nation, and we think this is the right thing to do. Now, it's obviously not the right thing to do, and you weren't protecting the nation. In fact, if anything, you were making it more dangerous. But in his mind, that's what they thought. No, it's okay because we're all getting Al-Qaeda here. That's it. We're getting Al-Qaeda, and we're going to prevent the attacks, and this is how we're going to do it. Trump is saying, yeah, forget the pretext. Forget the veneer of civilization. Don't call it enhanced interrogation. We're going to fucking call it torture. And we're going to torture, quote, even if it doesn't work. So in other words, I just want vengeance. I just want vengeance. I just want revenge. And by the way, that's bad enough even if we got people who you're convinced are Al-Qaeda because you are committing war crimes, and that says a lot about you and your character as a nation. But furthermore, the deeper problem is what? We don't even get the right people. How many times have we covered the story? And unfortunately, we are honestly the only ones who ever fucking talk about it, and it drives me crazy because this is honestly one of the biggest stories, since the turn of the century, man. That the people that we got at Guantanamo and Abu Ghraib and all these fucking prisons that are extrajudicial, we got them by cutting deals with warlords in Pakistan and Afghanistan. So we told them, hey man, look, we're going to give you a reward if you send us Al-Qaeda. So what did they do? It turns out warlords in Afghanistan and Pakistan are not too trustworthy. And they shipped us whoever the fuck their enemies were and whoever they wanted to be tortured. They didn't actually, try to, that one's in the Taliban, that one's in Al-Qaeda, let's get the right people here. No, they just rounded people up and shipped them off to the U.S. Now, we acted under the assumption that, no, these people are totally Al-Qaeda. By the way, this is why you need due process. You need due process, not for shits and giggles, to make sure you get it right. And we didn't make sure we got it right. So we didn't get it right. And we ended up torturing. This is what is admitted to in the Senate torture report. At least 20% of the people we tortured were totally innocent of any wrongdoing. And again, that's just what they admit to. And there's a lot of stuff that still hasn't been released. A lot of information that still hasn't been released. So at least 20% the wrong people. We did, of course, waterboarding, but waterboarding was the least of it. We did sleep deprivation, which is a disgusting form of torture. We literally used a communist Chinese manifesto on how to torture. They did hypothermia torture, which is exactly what it sounds like. They would throw cold water on somebody, leave them in a cold cell overnight, and come back in the morning. Now, one person died from that. This is what we did. They did mock burials. They told people, yeah, we caught your family. We raped them. And again, at least 20% of them were not jihadists, didn't do anything wrong. In fact, we know the personal details of many of these people. Murat Kurnaz was a story that should have been bigger than it was, but Murat Kurnaz was somebody who was held at either Abu Ghraib or Guantanamo. I think it was Guantanamo. And turns out he was a German citizen. Germany had to cut the deal to get him out. They're like, what are you that's one of our citizens. What are you doing? The guy was in Pakistan for a totally unrelated reason, and they're like, no, he's in Taliban. Maybe he's in the Taliban. So they got him, they tortured him, and the guy did nothing fucking wrong. How many of these stories, how many lives are you ruining because you don't believe in due process, you don't believe in the Constitution, you don't believe in human rights, you don't believe in international law? And Donald Trump is doubling fucking down on it and saying the guy who orchestrated the torture program is unapologetic about it and destroyed evidence of the crimes. That's who I want, because he's an authoritarian and he wants to get away with that shit too. So it is a sad, sad day for civil libertarians, man. Because it doesn't get any worse than this.